On this episode of the Holo Chronicles podcast, we are diving into the book of Boba Fett, what's going really well, and maybe some things that aren't going so well, but we were going to take a hard look at the Darksaber and why it's a thing. Guys, it's good to be back. Good to see you. Josh, hit it. Yo, yo, yo. It's good to be back, ladies and gentlemen.
Rest for the Holo Chronicles, and now we're back.
Back on an early Monday morning for us. It's 8:30 in the morning here, but that's okay. I got the day off. Josh had some time. We're hitting it live. Hello to all of you in the chat. Thank you for getting up with us this morning. It's good to see all the familiar faces and maybe even one or two unfamiliar faces.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks. You know, Andy, do you think that our equipment doesn't like early morning pods?
I don't think they had a tough time waking up this morning.
They're sleepy, especially the cameras.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, we're really happy to be here. Excited to talk about a couple things. This is going to be a quick, concise show, as quick as we can make it. So be ready. Be ready. It's controversial stuff. Some hot takes coming up.
Yeah. And I've purposefully, and this is no slight to people like Paul's Collectibles, who does a weekly book of Boba Fett, or any of our other buddies that have been commenting about it. I've deliberately kind of stayed away. Podcast of the Wills and Pete and them.
Welcome.
And I've stayed away because I'm formulating some thoughts, Josh. I'm thinking about some things, what it means now, what it means for the future. And
it's okay for us to have thoughts on the book of Boba Fett.
We can have some thoughts too.
We won't start a series of shows.
No. You're not in any danger of our
you weren't in the first place.
So anyway, good to see everybody. Thank you for joining us live, and thank you for those that are catching us on the rewind. Josh, I want to start by talking about what's good, what's been going well 5 episodes into the book of Boba Fett, and then we'll get to some things that maybe haven't gone as well, and maybe that could be changing here with the last couple coming up. But first, you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and if you so choose, you can be a patron follower at /Holo Chronicles.
Sure. And listen to us on all the major podcast platforms.
Of course.
If you
Josh,
don't like seeing us, don't blame me.
I think the best thing the book of Boba Fett has done so far, and what has held my attention the most, are the Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Jon Favreau and Filoni, if they do anything well, it's that they sometimes subtly and even not so subtly drop in things that take us back to a moment in a movie or a book or a comic animated series, and it just keeps all the different factions of Star Wars fans engaged in some way. And so the Easter egging, the mother loving Easter egging in every episode,
the mother loving
has been really outstanding. And what I really have enjoyed about it is that it hasn't been like overpowering or in your face, that it's just been there. And it's like, hey, that's totally normal and part of what's going on. And
yeah, I love it. Some grumpy people might call it fan serving or whatever, but
bring it on.
Serve me.
Serve it up. Real quick there. Quick shout out to Super Awesome Geek Show. Had an auction for his brother a week ago, and it went really well. They got a bunch of money raised for some cancer support, and also for his brother. That went really well, and also it's his birthday.
Happy birthday,
John! Just nice to see you there.
So, of course, we're not going to talk about all the Easter eggs from all the previous episodes. We're going to focus on episode 5.
Episode 5 had a bunch.
And they're fun. But I do agree with you that some of the callbacks, Easter eggs, are definitely fun. The book of Boba Fett. Lots of lots of reasons to hit pause, from time to time. So
yeah. So let's hit an old drop of ours.
Yes, I can't wait.
I'm on
Let's
it,
do
Josh.
All right.
Easter eggs.
Do you remember when those were so loud that people blew their eardrums out when we hit it?
Love it.
Oh, yeah.
Love
Anyway,
it.
that is an old drop.
It is
Easter eggs.
That's you, man.
That is
All right.
Goofy J.
Josh, hit us with some Easter eggs.
So we
if you
have
will.
obviously some of the ones that we found ourselves, and then scouring the internet for smarter, more diligent people. We pulled some of those, which was always fun to go and look at yourself and discover. So we thought we might share some with you. But from episode 5, let's just dive right into it. This is one I caught right away. And here you are. Here's the Star Tours droid. If you've ever been to Disneyland way back in the day, I mean, this is me, 10-year-old Josh. This is the droid, the goofy pilot for the Star Tours ship. And he gives some grief to Mando, which is awesome.
DJ Rex, I think is his name or something like that. And he was in the casino scene with Jennifer Beals. As a dealer.
Yeah, we've seen a few of these droids around, but it was nice to see it as a transport ship. Basically, kind of like the steward or stewardess before you get on the plane, or maybe TSA here, since he made Mando unload all of his weapons. Asked him if he'd like to see his supervisor. Thought that was pretty funny.
Yes.
And then we had the whole weapon load up. Quick side tour on that. Did you think that case was going to get jacked?
Oh yeah, I was like nervous. Like, no, what are you doing? Like,
that's almost like they did that on purpose, just to be like, nah, we're
just to raise the tension in the scene. Yeah, definitely.
So cool to see this guy. The next one we have. This one was obviously apparent too. I know we've all seen it. I just love bringing it up because why not? The K2 is just I mean, and they're shooting. You can see a hand down there in the bottom left.
Like the very next scene from that scene had the probe droids.
Yeah, probe droids floating around.
Sweet.
That was almost Matrixy looking too. So just a cool shout out for, hey, why not? It's the Night of 1,000 Tears or whatever. So nothing like a robot invasion.
Keep them coming, Josh.
Keep them coming. This one right here. This was one that was on. I'm sorry. Go to the next one. This is the big one. The big one that everyone talked about. Actually, the big one that got us a little bit of recognition. And it's not so much an Easter egg as it is a clue, right? We were looking for like they take the Beskar spear, and we hear him say, "We're not going to make a weapon out of Beskar. We don't do that."
No.
And he says, "Make armor for a foundling, a particular foundling." And then we see what can only be,
I want to see the baby.
Can only be chainmail. It's chainmail, right? That or a necklace. But armor, I don't know.
Some ice.
Yeah.
Some bling.
So we got a little we had a lot of fun with that. You guys may have seen one of our tweets, and we even got a little TikTok famous.
Yeah, we did
on one of those. So which is hilarious.
It's a good time, man.
It was a good time. So stay looking forward to what's in the little bag that looks like Grogu's head.
Yes.
And excited about that.
Very, very.
What do we got here? That's just another shot of our droid. Sorry, I'm out of order. Then this one with Bryce Dallas Howard. This was a callback to Jurassic Park, which is pretty cool.
Yes.
As I call it, just frizzy haired lady.
Yes.
Gets drugged behind the counter. It was in Jurassic Park, but whatever we'll call this, the box by the, what is it? It's not a womp rat. That's a.
That one wasn't
really ever see what it was.
Yeah,
huh?
it was.
Somebody knows. You guys will know in the chat.
Cool.
Somebody's looked it up. So a fun Easter egg there. And then of course this one I thought was pretty cool. Took me a couple to catch it. And this is where it's Han's famous line when introducing the Falcon,
which is,
I know she doesn't look like much,
but she's got to wear a cap.
But she's got. Oh yeah, sorry, I was just reading the screen. I thought you could do that. So that's pretty cool. And of course, I mean, we didn't even have to put it in there, but the N1 Naboo fighter itself is a major Easter egg, but it's awesome. Yeah, Amy, I thought she was awesome. I loved her lines. The Jawas is too good. Gonk droid actually getting used for power.
Yeah, that's nice to see.
That's fun. He's not just milling around anymore. Even I liked how his head little dome even lit up. That's a new Gonk version there. We might be. That's a good toy to look forward to, possibly. A little bit of light up, huh?
You never know.
And then this one had me freaking out a little bit, maybe overreacted. But we saw a BD droid, not the BD.
Well, you never know. That is the R5. I mean, so Amy Sedaris' character has all the droids,
Yeah.
all of them, like
Yeah.
all of them. She's got all of them. They're all there. Pit droids, BD, Gonk, R5, and the I can't think of the one with the. It's got the road, the track, but then two eyes. Anyway, it was in from
that
New
one.
Hope.
Yep.
Can't think of the name of it, but
Call it two-eyed track droid.
She's got all of them. Like she's
She
got
does.
all the droids.
But BD even gets, I mean, he gets limpy, like
just like in the
Jedi
game.
Fallen Order.
Yep.
She never said his designation though. She just said BD.
Yeah.
So I still get a little excited there because what if
what
maybe
Cal Kestis, here he comes.
That actor's good for years right now. If you want to bring him in to look like an older Cal Kestis or a younger one, doesn't matter. This one was
there. We go. It's a Treadwell droid.
Treadwell. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. I just immediately the chat was like, it's a Treadwell.
Yeah, idiots. What do you know? All right. This one was pretty fun. Here, I'll show the bigger version here.
Yes.
We've got the debris at the entrance to Beggar's Canyon. Or not the entrance, somewhere in Beggar's Canyon. Where
that
Anakin's pod.
Little Annie busted through that gate and the gate debris. I mean, even yes, it's still there.
It's still there.
It's still there.
And you can go back and watch the clip. That one was fun of him busting through.
Love it.
Super cool. And then this is a callback. Andy had to refresh me on this, but I loved it. And there he is. Sorry, that's him saying wizard. I had the one with the clip, but I got the wrong one. But yep, that's him saying wizard after his fantastic run.
Yep.
And then
wizard.
Yeah, wizard. And then this one right here, pull that down. This is just a callback to Luke saying when he's going to go see Yoda, I got to go visit an old friend. I got to go pay a visit to a little friend.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we have here.
Yep.
So that's a cool nod to obviously Baby Yoda. We don't call him that. And then the last one was not in any particular order, but this one was kind of fun. This right here is Max Lloyd Jones, Lieutenant Reed, who also was the body double for Luke.
That's pretty cool.
So he got a speaking part, which is awesome.
And a cool helmet.
Awesome helmet. Yeah. And another sighting from our buddy Paul from a few episodes. Or was that our last episode?
That was the last one we did.
From our last episode with Paul. He's back. Love seeing him on there. And he was so tight-lipped with us when he was on. Can you imagine?
God,
I'm going to be on in a week. I'm going to be on in a week.
It's a week away. I'll be back.
So pretty cool stuff. So that's, and by the way, we did start off by saying what we enjoy about the Book of Boba Fett are the Easter eggs. And this was what some may call a Mandalorian episode, but still in the same series. So we, season, I guess. So we're okay with it. And there's been many more prior to that, but this was a fun one to go through. A lot for some reason. And even more. There's more on there that we haven't picked up, but I forgot about those, didn't I? I got one more before you move on.
Okay.
Before you move on.
I was going to add one, but go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. Add one, and then I'll add this.
Halo.
Yeah, Halo. I mean, Halo.
Come on.
That was awesome.
And perfectly tied in too, because they just dropped. I mean, the Halo series is coming out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even though it's a different entity on a different network, it's going to be on Paramount, but still cool. Like sci-fi nerds definitely got that. Gamer geeks got that. And they were like,
oh, yeah. Yeah. I told you what I liked to see was another superstructure in space that wasn't the Death Star.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about a spacefaring, a galaxy. And the only, well, I shouldn't say the only, but really the dominant large structure and floating around living in space has been the Death Star. But to see it, let's see some big structures out there. And that one, to me, would you call that bigger than the Death Star? I think it was huge.
It was.
I mean, we don't know.
We really don't know.
We didn't have a
scale
banana for scale. So, this one I just wanted to show you guys really quick. This one I found on TikTok or got shared with, and I'll just play it. Here it goes. How do you say that, Andy? Bonar?
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 A bonar?
A bonar.
A bonar.
A bonar.
That's what I said.
Yeah, exactly.
So that we saw one of those.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the bonars.
It was pretty good size.
Yeah.
Anyway,
We're getting kicked. The Halo, we're getting kicked. I know, but Halo is a ring world too, right?
yes,
The weapon, but yeah, I know. Hey, let us have our own imagination.
Come on, I thought Halo when I saw it.
Sure.
And that's okay.
That's okay. All right. So I think that's it. Like we said, there's plenty more, but I enjoyed those. We had fun going through them together, and definitely a big part. Give me more. Oh crap! I missed my favorite one. This one. Jeez, I missed it. I missed it. The cryogenic density combustion booster.
Yeah.
Better known as doesn't work in a trash compactor.
No, less
effective.
Less effective.
Yeah. That one was good. And then of course the whole Jawa dating a Jawa it's fine with me. I loved it.
Sure.
I was laughing.
Yeah.
Give me a little levity. That's Star Wars, right?
It's a little, it gets lonely on most episodes.
Furry.
They're very furry.
Yeah. So
shout out, yes, Gallanorian Saber. Oops, that wasn't your.
Yep, Super Star Wars for the NES. Isn't that one impossible to beat, or is that where like you just keep going? Or which one was named one of the hardest games ever created? One of the Star Wars falls into that category, but yeah, can't remember if
not exactly sure.
One. There's one. It probably was on original Nintendo, and it's near like you're jumping up the side of a sandcrawler or something, and it's near impossible. And then once you get done with it, it's just like you do it again or something. It's ridiculous.
Well, I always thought Boba Fett in the Shadows of the Empire was darn near impossible.
He was hard. So was IG. He was hard too.
IG was hard.
It was tough.
No doubt.
Tough, man.
All right. So Easter egging these episodes. I mean, and this has been carried through in all 5 episodes so far. Lots of things to call back to. Lots of little tidbits of, hey, is that? Yeah, that is. And that's been great. That's been and even in the Mandalorian, that's they've started this Easter egging and fan servicing idea that it's been really well done in our opinions, and it's only been
fun
attention getting. Yeah, it's
fun's okay
in a good way. Now, leading into some area where Book of Boba Fett maybe hasn't gone the way we'd hoped, or it just maybe hasn't gone as well. There's been the argument that the episodes have been a little slow or inconsistent, and I think that's kind of fair. Not everything has to be a pod race, and I understand that. But for me, what has happened is that Boba Fett and the Mandalorian are 2 Mandalorians that don't have a ton of personality, so they need people on screen to help carry the scenes, the episodes. And in the Mandalorian, the supporting characters were co-stars in every episode, whether it was Cara Dune or Carl Weathers or Queel, yeah. Or even like Horatio Sands' character. When he was on, he was the co-star in the scene. Like, and all Mando had to do. Bill Burr, Bo-Katan, Ahsoka Tano, Luke Skywalker. I mean, you just go
through
very
strong supporting characters.
I would even say that they were co-stars.
Yeah.
Right. That and of course the overarching one, Grogu. Right.
Right. Like
stole every scene he was in.
Right.
And so in that regard, Mandalorian Din, he didn't have to carry a whole lot as far as the weight of scenes. I mean, he had to play a role definitely, and he did it well. But there was always equal support around him. Like when they dropped Boba Fett in The Mandalorian, man, that was awesome.
Yeah, it was huge.
It was awesome. And it was a perfect use of Boba Fett, because Boba Fett has always been a supporting character and never. We're talking 9 minutes of screen time in the original trilogy. Like
really almost an extra.
Yeah. So Boba's never had to carry an episode or he was a support, and the best support in Mandalorian, and now the roles have reversed. But in the Book of Boba Fett, all of his supports have not carried the scenes along with them. Boba has had to carry them, and he hasn't done it as well because he also has not a lot of personality. And I've asked this question since before any episodes came out. It's like, what's going to top the Boba Fett in my mind?
Yeah, and that's the
a
issue.
tough
Guess
expectation.
what? Mandalorian never had to meet that expectation.
Nope.
It came out as an exciting thing that could have failed, could have been like, Mandalorian's boring. We don't like him. But now we do. And to your point, I wanted to talk a little bit about, what they're doing with Boba Fett right now, good or bad. And it's a struggle, I think, to take off, like you just said, your idea of Boba Fett, which really resides within that helmet, and to take that helmet off and give Tamora a role and a lot of speaking parts and an identity and to craft a personality. And that's what I talked to you about. It was like, look, you've already got, Boba Fett originally was what? The guy behind the helmet who had, a little bit of lines, and he was very mysterious, and he talked, and guess what he talked like?
Probably kicked butt.
He talked exactly like Mando does. Okay. So if we were to leave Boba Fett behind the helmet, let's say that we go into the book of Boba Fett and he's really acting the bounty hunter. We didn't know where it was going to go. It could have gone where he goes off and travels and does Mando stuff. I don't know. Obviously, that would have been a little bit of a copy. But if you have two guys stuck behind helmets with mysterious personas, that to me is kind of canceling each other out or not really giving yourself depth with that. So I think that's the struggle that they're having is creating a Boba identity. Now I know they're trying to do it. We got that with all the back to tank flashbacks.
Okay, so to that point, Josh, I don't mind those. In fact, they did some flashbacks in Mandalorian to when he was a kid and
I don't mind him either.
And his planet was attacked by droids. You kind of got some story there. And we got a little bit throughout. That's all good. I love the idea of the story that they've prepared for Boba Fett, that he's going to take over being a crime lord, and he hasn't gotten there yet, and it seems like it's a hurry up and wait kind of situation. But even more so, they're still trying to take the format of Mandalorian, which worked really, really well, which is an understatement. He's trying to get his crew together to go do a thing.
Sure.
And the crew that he's gotten together has not been as strong as it was in The Mandalorian. And I know they're going to unfairly be compared to each other from here on out, but they're trying to do the same things. It just isn't. The supporting characters aren't as strong. Fennec in episode 4 finally felt like a co-star.
Yes.
Instead of somebody who was also there.
Kind of a sidekick.
Yeah. And I think we need more of that. I think we need more. I think if he's going to bring Kirsten along, who doesn't seem to speak and just growl, like, okay, that's fine.
Who, by the way, is a shining point for sure.
Yes.
Just the costume.
Yeah. And the Hutts, the twins,
they were cool.
Like, they're dropping in some cool things, but they're not carrying the episode like maybe some of the characters did in The Mandalorian, so that Mando didn't have to do as much, or didn't feel like it anyway. So anyway,
that's just an opinion, though. Now,
there's
another angle to look at it too. It's like, look, they've got 40 minutes, half an hour to get all this information in. The arc of the story itself is cool. I just don't think like you already said it, and you said it best. How is the book of Boba Fett going to live up to your idea of Boba Fett? And really, did The Mandalorian actually do that for you? Did it live up to your idea of Boba Fett? You know what I'm saying? Like, it did. That's what he was. He's kicked by, bring in warm, bring in cold. And you're like, yeah, that's a bounty hunter. That's so. And now you have Boba Fett saying, I'll rule with respect. And you're like, hey, hang on a second. Where's the warm and cold of the bounty hunter? So, but that's okay. And I think we had a comment, I think of Pete. I think Pete, saying that character development's everything. That's okay. We're trying to figure out who Boba is, and so are they. Yeah. I don't know. To be honest, the story is great. I don't know if the writing's awesome. I'm struggling with that. Well, I mean, come on, the dialogue, again, Star Wars, but we could have had some better lines, right?
Yeah,
I guess
maybe. Well, and so one thing that you pointed out, this was your good point to me when we were talking about it earlier. When Boba got dropped into the Mando, it was awesome. Everybody was freaking out in a good way, and it was awesome. But there was some concern.
Yeah.
Of
overshadowing.
Is Boba going to overshadow Mando now?
Yeah, it was. We talked about it. It was talked about around the the Twitterverse. Like,
yeah.
Is Boba going to overshadow Mando?
And then now Mando has done the role reversal.
and the same concerns are out. As a matter of fact.
And what did you have to say about that, Josh?
Well, the concerns with Boba, like you mentioned, coming into the Mandalorian, we knew it. We finally knew he was coming. Is he going to upstage Mando? And now we've had a lot of concern over episode 5 of the Book of Boba Fett, because here it was just a Mandalorian episode. It was just, what's going on? Oh, so we need the Mandalorian to carry Boba Fett because of the upstaging. And my answer to that, or my response to that, is who cares? I don't actually, now that I really think about it, care if Mando comes in and upstages Boba, or if Boba had come in, and maybe he kind of did for that one episode. I mean, when he took care of the troopers that Mando couldn't, I mean, that was a bit of upstaging. My point for saying who cares is if the story is great, then who cares how they come across each other? And I can understand why you might, because you're like, look, I want a story about Boba Fett. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
And maybe that's just, again, your expectations replacing reality. And that's okay. We got to have our opinions on what we like. But who cares? It's awesome. And if you really wanted to justify it, you could say, look, the Book of Boba Fett is really just is Mandalorian season 2.5. And if they'd have positioned it that way, then you'd be fine with a Mando really a Mandalorian episode. I don't care. That episode made me want to watch the next Book of Boba Fett episode as soon as it comes out. And I hadn't felt that way. Now, guess what? I don't think Mando's going to be in it right away, because is he taking we're not going to see Grogu in the Book of Boba Fett. I imagine they're saving that for the actual Mando season, but I don't know. Maybe we are. Well, but he's got to be the muscle for the upcoming battle, so I don't get it.
Well, he's going to be back at some point.
Sure.
Okay, that's all we know for now. And I like what you just said there. It's like this was your first time where you can't wait to see the next one.
Exactly.
Okay. This was the first episode that I watched 4 times.
Yeah, I'm on 2, and I don't do 2 watches. I do 1, and then you tell me what you saw, and I'm like, oh yeah, that was cool. On your 5th go around.
So I think that can't be understated. So here's how this could all work. And the question on the picture on the thumb is Star Wars trying to imitate Marvel? Okay. And here's what I was thinking. Marvel had over 20 movies and now series that their stories have blended together over, essentially on the timeline is like 100 years plus some flashbacks to prior to that. All these movies weave in and out of each other. They Easter egg each other. They drop characters in from other things on each other. And Kevin Feige, the kind of the overseer of all of it, has made sure everything has gone together into one continuous story leading up to Infinity War and
Endgame.
And that was, looking back, that was incredible. Like, it was truly incredible.
I recently, then I told you, went through the whole in timeline in in timeline order.
Yes.
Not in movie order.
Right.
And that was last year, COVID.
Yeah.
And it was, I was just so thrilled by it. Even though I'd seen most of the movies, I was thrilled by it. I was just like, man, this is fun. This is really fun. This is what I would love for them to do.
So,
to your point.
So I believe that Feige is connected to Star Wars, even though Marvel is Disney as well.
Sure.
He could have just a little credit.
Sure.
Asking him a question because he's in the building. But are the new Star Wars series going to be doing this? Meaning Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka Tano, potentially Bo-Katan. All of these series are running in the same time frame, so they can weave in and out. It's easy. Well, we can see now Mando is going to help Boba out. Boba helped Mando out. Those stories are intertwined now. Now, Din has already alluded to the fact that he needs some training with the Darksaber. Well, who's a Jedi in the universe that we know? There are 2 that could do that. Ahsoka, who's going to be having their own series in which she might need some help. And also Luke, who's with Grogu. Maybe they bring him back.
Luke doesn't need any help.
Like these are things like, so, and then Bo-Katan and Mando, they're intertwined. And so there are 2 this is where I get a little excited.
Yes.
Because if this is what's going to end up happening, then I'm totally on board. 100%. If they're going to be dropping in and out of each other's timelines and stories and you know, they're going to be a part of each other's crew in some point in each of their stories, because they're each trying to accomplish something, right? Boba's trying to gain a spot in, you know, Tatooine. Mando's, you know, his story is a little unknown, but we kind of hope it's leading towards Mandalore, and as is Bo-Katan. And Ahsoka, she's trying to go find Ezra and go after Thrawn. Okay.
Are you going to say it?
So this is where
this is your theory.
This is where I hope and pray that this is where it's all heading. These stories, if they're taking the Marvel model, then what are the two big things that need to happen? One, Mandalore gets, or a place for Mandalorians gets restored and is a safe haven because they are scattered into the wind, right?
Right.
And so that needs to happen. That's a big thing. But then just like Marvel was always leading up to the gauntlet, and who was wielding the gauntlet, that was Thanos. We have Thrawn.
Are you saying, Andy, that Thanos equals Thrawn?
That's what I think is going to happen. That's what I think we're leading up to. Okay. And how it all gets there, it's going to take a few seasons of each of these,
few years,
to get there.
Yeah.
Okay. But if this is where we're headed, this is an awesome model to try and follow. And I think it would really kind of gather up the fandom in a way that, you know, it hasn't happened. We haven't all been together on. Well, I take that back. I think everybody was pretty much on board with the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
I think that was pretty well received.
And we have a little dissent right now with Book of Boba Fett, and we can we're here to say that.
But there's also 2 more episodes to go that might just be like, okay, you know,
if the first 4 or 3 really had been 1 episode, we'd be okay right now. They kind of packed it in. But
yes.
I'm okay with I'm fine with it. I just, like I said, I just wasn't excited about it. And to sit down and this week and probably at midnight our time to watch it, that's exciting. That's exciting. So
we do, Scooby Pete, we do like a good crossover. That's 80s, folks. Thranos. Yeah, hashtag Thranos.
Thranos. Perfect. I like that take though. And I don't see why they wouldn't. And I like that we have, you know, old characters and new characters, but through it all, it's a new story.
Yeah.
And that's why that's where I think they're doing it right. And maybe in the past, other people who aren't working on this project, you know, had to reintroduce all brand new characters to jumpstart. Nah, we're jumpstarting something right now. Not jumpstarting. We're in the middle of that. Really could make us as Star Wars fans, the majority of us, really happy for the next years to come.
Couple years, yeah.
Yeah, really happy. You know, not always fully satisfied like you and I are.
This is phase 1.
Yeah, but I'm happy. Look, again, I still get to sit down and watch a brand new Star Wars production, and it's got Boba Fett in it, and I'm okay, and I'm seeing cool stuff. And here's what I love too. When Mando walked in through the drapes, I got excited. I was like, oh, you know, I knew he was coming, right? We had the little key music and that we need some muscle.
But it was like,
but still, I got excited.
Yeah, we knew he was coming, but he showed up first second of the first scene, just like Ahsoka did in her episode of Mandalorian. Like, she was on the scene through the whole thing.
Oh, and when he ignites the Darksaber, I was like, I forgot. I mean, I knew.
Oh,
Time
out. Let's segue here for a minute. Speaking of the Darksaber, ladies and gentlemen, if you were like me, over the last year, I wanted to know more about the Darksaber. Okay, and where the succession, how it got into the hands that it got into. Tar Vizsla, 1,000 years ago.
Yep.
Created it.
Such a cool take here. Yeah, this is
Okay. Created it.
Little foreshadowing.
Yeah. It gets handed down. You know, the line of succession isn't exactly clear up until Tar Vizsla.
Okay.
60 BBY.
Somebody's on Wikipedia.
I will not deny that I looked up a little bit.
You didn't know that off the top of your head?
No, I didn't. Okay,
right.
so Tar Vizsla, he's the original founder of Death Watch.
Okay.
and brutal man, kind of like Viking-esque, just he's here all about the power once Mandalore had the battle with Jester Muriel. Right? Those are the two factions.
J-Dog, man.
Yeah. There's always seems to be like two factions. Okay. So as it turns out, Tor Vizsla was killed in battle by Jango Fett.
Oh, wow.
Tor Vizsla had the Darksaber in his possession. So if you're of the mind that the wielder of the Darksaber is by force, right? Whoever wins it in battle, kind of like the Elder Wand in Harry Potter, Jango Fett would be the next person to have it, but he never got it. Okay. Which creates some questions.
Sure.
Okay. So from there, it gets handed down to a relative to Pre-Vizsla. And we've seen him in the animated series. We see him as the leader of Death Watch. And of originally Bo-Katan is part of Pre-Vizsla's Death Watch. Okay. She's on board with that. Well, then Pre-Vizsla gets defeated by Darth Maul. Darth Maul has the Darksaber and says, because I have this, I am now the rightful ruler of Death Watch and therefore Mandalore. And that gets mixed reviews. In fact, that's when Bo-Katan says, nope, you are neither Mandalorian by birth nor by creed. I am not following you. And she leaves Death Watch.
Right.
Okay. So just a little history here. Then at some point, Maul's defeated by Palpatine. And the Darksaber loses ownership for a while, but it ends up back on Dathomir, where Kanan and Ezra find it and give it to Sabine. Now, Sabine didn't win it in battle, and she wields it for a while in a little bit of Rebels, but even before that, well, actually, I shouldn't say that. Sabine's mom gets it.
Okay.
Somehow. So I don't know how. This is where it gets a little fuzzy. And she trades it to Gar Saxon for safe passage for Sabine and promises to turn in the two Jedi with her. So it's kind of like a double cross. But you keep Sabine safe, you can have the Jedi. Here's the Darksaber. So that's how Gar Saxon gets it. But then Sabine defeats Gar Saxon. And then Sabine has the Darksaber. And then she gives it to Bo-Katan. Bo-Katan accepts it, which that's why she's reluctant to just accept it from Din in The Mandalorian. She did that, and it didn't go well for her.
Right.
Okay. So that's a bummer, kind of a sticking point for Bo-Katan, because she had it and then she lost it, eventually to Giancarlo Esposito, Moff Gideon. And now Din has gotten it back. All that to say, Jango should have had it, but didn't. And guess who is a genetic replica of Jango?
Well, but that doesn't hold water, right? Because
It
Bo-Katan's a genetic, descendant of Sabine, who won it in battle or whatever. So, but it doesn't. She can't have it because of her lineage. Even the armorer just said that she thinks she can have it because of her heritage. She's wrong.
No. Which, by the way, the armorer and Bo-Katan beef goes back.
Love it.
They throw shade on each other whenever they can.
Loving it.
And you know why, Josh? Because when Bo-Katan, I cannot verify this as fact. This is
Andy's.
This
made
is
it
just.
up.
I was thinking about this. It has to be because when Bo-Katan left Death Watch and joined the Loyalists, right? Those that followed Maul, that stayed in Death Watch, really probably despised her. And guess who the armorer probably was with, given the horns on her helmet?
Yeah.
She was probably a Darth Maul follower, Death Watch, super commando type. So I love that. I love that they're gonna throw down at some point. I gotta believe it. They're gonna throw down.
And Mando caught in the middle. I think both factions are coming after Mando now. So you're gonna have Bo-Katan.
Well,
and the
you
armor.
say factions. There's two.
I know there's
two in that faction.
I know, but come on,
and 3 in the other one.
It'll be huge. Good. You see odds so better.
So anyway, all that leads up to the Darksaber and the fact that Din has it. And what does that mean? that means that I could not resist the temptation to get
so
this
cool.
bad boy. This is a Black Series Darksaber sword. And so cool. Man.
So cool.
Now I will rule Mandalore. It's heavy, Josh.
I have to say, this is the highest quality Black Series saber that I've ever held. That hilt is awesome. And you asked the question this morning. What was that? You said, how do you think this compares to the saber the saber hilts that
at Galaxy's Edge?
At Galaxy's Edge, these $250 hilts with no blade. I mean, you got paid like 30 more bucks for the blade. That thing's awesome. Top notch Black Series. Ha. Here you go, Andy. Answer that. He did not. He traded Flawn for it, for sure. Andy is a Mandy.
Okay, so now there's a button you can push on here too, and just watch this. I don't know if you can see that real well.
Yeah, it can't really, but it's definitely some sparking colors at the tip.
We'll have to do in a dark room. We'll have to do its own review.
Easy, Andy. Stop. What caused such a wound?
But this is such a good,
Watch
such
your
a
leg.
good thing. Yeah, watch my. Here's the stand for it.
Awesome
stand, and it holds. I mean, with the blade in, it'll still hold it.
It's just awesome. Well done. Another Black Series win, and they seem to be so good at these so far, for the most part, with helmets and sabers. But that one is above and beyond.
And if you want to take the blade out and just display it as the hilt, then it comes with a little Allen wrench. It's just one little screw. And
Matt just had an earthquake where he lives. Matt, hope you're safe.
Oh, jeepers.
Greg, get into that Star Wars room quick. Start grabbing stuff. Oh, yeah, and grab the kids.
Hey, yeah, go grab Luke and your wife.
Oh, I love that back to spray. See, I have that on my list here. Back to spray. Don't you? You just sprays. Let me grab that. This is like the first aid stuff. What we were saying, like in soccer.
Oh, yeah.
Or I'm sorry, football,
Footy.
In here. But good stuff. This is an awesome piece.
Yeah, I had a little store credit at favorite shop of mine, Toy Box Heroes in Vancouver, Washington, and did a little trading and paid not as much as I would have otherwise.
And so that's just like a little insert that you put in to give it a good look when the blade's not in it, right?
Yep. But it's still.
I mean, any Star Wars hilt that comes with an Allen wrench, you got some good quality there.
Yeah. Don't let IKEA fool you. But there you go, man. The Darksaber. It's awesome. It's heavy. I mean, it's well made. You're right. It's the best saber the Black Series sabers have had.
Yeah.
And you have.
I have
like
3 or 4.
5. I thought you had like 5 of them.
5. Yeah. I've got a Luke. I got a
mace,
a
Yoda,
Kylo, a Yoda.
Kylo, yeah. So you got quite a few. And this one.
And I have, several of the
Galaxy's Edge ones as well,
ones, yeah.
which those are definitely of a high quality.
Yep.
And this fits in. This fits in with.
I don't think, as a matter of fact, I think they sell a Darksaber, which I didn't get at Galaxy's Edge, and I didn't hold it. I wish I had, because then I would know if maybe they're the same dang hilt. I don't know. It's crazy. Okay. I don't know how they can improve it. It's great though.
Perhaps. This is it, guys. Awesome. I think if you can find them, they're around $260, $275. The Black Series ones now. So I think when they first came out, they were $200, and I think they've gone up a little bit, or maybe they were $250 when anyway,
somewhere.
They're only going up now. So
yeah,
now that we've seen them in action,
definite get if you find one.
Yeah, I know JD's into sabers. He's going to need one of those if he doesn't have it already. Uh,
How'd we do, Andy?
I think, we have a spinner, but
Technical difficulties, man. Just trust me. It's turning and there's a toy on it.
yeah,
And we'll show you next time. But cameras just were mean this morning.
cameras are a little pissy.
They were. They're mean. We're just lucky we're on the screen. And you are too.
Yeah. So from here, we're going to wrap up.
Yep.
Thanks for hanging out with us this morning on a Monday morning.
Little
Chronicles.
Book of Boba Fett talk. It's never bad. Not a lot of toy talk. We'll get to those. Don't worry. We got more stuff. But an awesome saber.
Awesome saber.
A missed spinner, but you'll get it next time.
Let's see if we can get this
And
back.
I think there's some other stuff in the
In the
mail.
queue.
Yeah, in the queue. And
Yeah.
we'll be waiting for it. So
Well, we've got the Red 5 book coming up.
Yep.
It's awesome. We've got the Razor Crest. We didn't even talk about the new N1 Naboo Starfighter with
would you back it?
sub. I threw a poll up a couple weeks ago, and it's been a while since we've had a show, but would you back the Rancor now if they made it Book of Boba Fett themed? Because he's going to be stomping around in that in the next couple episodes.
Sure.
Right? That has to be happening.
Oh, yeah. And I have one. Yeah.
So I put a poll out. Would you back it now if it was Book of Boba Fett themed instead of original trilogy themed? And it was darn near. It was 51-49.
I just don't know. Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
Which to me isn't enough to.
No.
I mean, not saying that Hasbro was looking at our poll, but 51-49 to me, if I was Hasbro, is not enough for me to say, okay, well, let's try again.
Yeah. Well, we talked about too after that. I think you and I, or maybe it was on the show, just like, well, if they're going to bring the Rancor back, then they better bring it back with just everything, all the tiers. Here it is. This is what you can get. This is what you will get. Back it. Maybe 350 is too much. 300, 299. And another thing. Oh, one thing from an Easter egg standpoint, I forgot to add in there. This is the second mention of the mythosaur. I mean, this is the second time, right?
Well, how many times have they mentioned that Tatooine used to have oceans?
Yeah. I mean, we're talking, I don't know.
Yeah. You think there's something there? You think where there's smoke, there's fire?
But she even said, but of course that's myth. So, I mean,
Well,
or
that's a
legend,
mythosaur.
or whatever. But I think, I think maybe we'll see something, maybe a flashback, or maybe we'll see something in the past on another show. Okay, Andy, are you ready to wrap this up? I know you are.
Yeah. Please leave a comment on whether or not you like the idea of Thrawn being the Thanos, being if Star Wars is going Marvel, that this is what we're leading up to. This is what we're building up to, because to me, that makes a lot of sense and could be very exciting. But I am just one person.
Yeah.
So
can Thrawn carry it? And I think he can.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Thrawn carried the Rebels episodes that he was in, man.
Yep.
They definitely.
In the books, he's
in the books. I mean, we've devoted a lot of Star Wars.
It's time for Thrawn.
It's time for Thrawn.
Yeah.
We need his story.
We need a bad guy, like a real. I mean, Moff Gideon was a good bad guy,
right?
But he almost kind of got beat, right? He got his butt kicked.
He's
a little bit.
He's a boss, but he's not the boss.
He's not even a Vader with an emperor. He's just kind of a boss,
right?
He's
You're right. You're right.
He's a Krennic. So, in that regard. So we need a Vader, even a combo, because even the Emperor through Rebels kicked, butt. Was it Rebel or is it Clone? I get them mixed up. But the Emperor was an awesome. But the Emperor was the big bad guy in Jedi, Return of the Jedi. And I guess he was in Rise of Skywalker too. He was a big bad guy. But you need a big bad guy.
We need a big bad guy. We need a monster type Thanos.
Yeah,
like this guy is the next level. He's not Loki bad guy. He's
not a regional
Thanos.
player.
Yeah.
He's not a regional player. He's a galactic player.
Exactly.
That's what we need.
So leave a comment if you like that idea or what you would like to see if they start Marvelizing Star Wars, if that's a good idea for you or not, or just keep them separate with the occasional drop in, whatever. Leave a comment, like it, share it. Thank you for watching. You can find us again on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Patreon, and any of the audio platforms if you'd like to share it out. So thank you. And don't forget to play with your toys.